What's going on, guys? My name is Derek. Welcome to my channel, Euro Superbike Life. This is the third episode or third installment of my i2M Chrome Pro 2 install. Today we're going to be going through some of the configurations and screens on the unit itself. Just to show you what they are, I need to make some changes. I need to change some values from like kilometers to miles per hour and things of that nature. And I need to update the firmware and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, guys, let's get right to it. We'll go through some of the screens, do some configuration here. I have my USB card here. And you can see right now that the bike is in kilometers and it's not set to anything. So we have to change things from kilometers in Celsius to miles per hour in Fahrenheit. And then we have to configure this for this particular bike. So if we go in here, first you can see it's in Italian. So we got to figure out where the language is. Under options and right there. So it says Italian. So we'll long press, change that to English. Hold, long press, one of these. Okay, so not, oh, there it goes. It was just rebooting itself apparently. Don't know what that says because that's in Italian. And it's still in Italian, so let's do this again. Long press, English, hold. Okay. It's going to say that we need to reboot, so I'm going to manually reboot it. Give it a second. Okay, we'll restart it. And let's see here, quick press. All right, and now there we go. Now we're in English. So we need to set this to BMW. So let's go back down to options, long press, and you see down here it says Yamaha R1. Apparently it defaults to the Yamaha. So we'll go down here, we'll long press, and then we will change this. So this BMW 2015 BMW HP4, S1000RR HL, ABS, and then Aprilia. So this is the one we want. So I'll long press on the top button, lock it in. And then we should be able to come out of here. So you see this is these are some of the warning lights, and this is related to ABS and traction control, and I have that off by default, and it automatically configures to the bike, so it's turning this warning light on because I have that information off, and you can see it says slick mode here. So we are good there. We'll cancel out of that. Now we'll go back in. Now we need to change kilometers to miles per hour. So we'll go into view, and you can see we have track. For mode, we have track, speed place. I'm not sure what that means. Speed units, you see it's in kilometers. So we'll go down to this, long press. We'll change that to miles per hour, long press, lock it in. And then when we go back, you'll see that we're now miles per hour. It's changed to Fahrenheit. So now let's go in here and we'll load up our circuit. You see it says no circuit selected here because we're not outside, we're not at a track. So let's go in here and go up to Chrome meter And let's see, we'll go into select circuits. We'll see what's in here by default. And you can see we have a bunch of European tracks. We got Brno, Cartagena, Imola, Barcelona, so forth and so on as we go down here. Albacete, Misano, Monza, Portimao, Valencia, Verano. So we have all these tracks in here, none of them that I will ever be at. So we need to update. So I have my USB flash drive and USB port over here. So I'm going to go over here and say import, and I'm going to go to import circuits from USB. I'll plug in my USB stick, plug that in like that, and then I'm going to long press. It'll say circuits imported correctly. So now let's go out. We'll go back up to select circuits. We'll see what we have, and there you go. Now we have New Jersey Motorsports Park, we have New York Safety Track, we have Palmer, both clockwise and counterclockwise. We have the Ridge, Road America, and a few others. Willow, Barber, Button Willow, Canaan, Chuck Waller, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Club Autosports, that's fairly close to me. Road America, and a few others. So now we have some US tracks that I either frequent or will frequent. Now we can change, let's see, let's go into display, and we're displaying track, and with the back color is standard. So let's see some of these other ones that we can change it to. So we have red, green, white, carbon, classic, tech, and tech 2. So let's select tech 2, and we'll go out and we'll see what tech 2 looks like. There you go, that's tech 2. Not bad, sort of reminds me of ZX10 dash. So we'll go back in here again. And let's go to tech. And we'll go out. That's tech. Not crazy about that. Sort of looks GSX-R-ish. And back down. There's classic. Let's check out classic. That's classic. Not bad. Still not my cup of tea. And let's check out one of these colors. Let's go to red. That's red. Not crazy about that. And one more. We'll do white. And that's white. White sort of looks like standard. So we'll leave it at white. I'm not. So what else? We have, let's unplug my USB card here. So under Chrome meter, so we have, we can go in and we can view our lap times. We can delete laps, select our circuits, circuit details, some daily details. We can import and export tracks. We have our circuit library, and then Chrome Laps, it's sort of a i2M site where you can update your lap data for specific tracks and compare it to others that have ridden the track from wherever. So you see how you've done compared to everyone else around the world. Let's go back in display view here. So if we come down here, you can see, well, it highlights these yellow positions as I click through. I can change the information on all of these. So let's see, let's come up to position 1. Let's say I want that to read my best lap time, let's say, all right? So we'll highlight that and we'll start changing it from temperature. We got angle, exit 1, X2, 3, 4. We have front tire pressure, front temp. That's the wheel temp that I've talked to you guys about. So it does in fact do that. Rear pressure, rear temp, lap time, last lap, best lap. So let's put that to best lap. I can hold that there. And then let's say in second place, I want that to show not battery voltage, but my actual lap time. You see it's in position 3, but I want position 2 to show lap time. So, oops. So we'll hold that down and we'll click through all of these and we'll say lap time, we'll long press. Okay. Now we'll go to position 3. That's currently showing lap time. Let's say I want that to show my last lap time. So we'll hold that down and we'll say last lap. And then instead of odometer, let's put our ideal time. So this bike or the Chrome can calculate our ideal lap time based on what we've done so far. And they can say, okay, well, based on what you're doing now, this would be your ideal lap. So it gives you something to shoot for. So we can hold that down there. And now we can come out and you can see that it's showing these things. We got best lap, nothing there, obviously, our last lap, our current lap with the counter, and our ideal lap, and it shows a split time. So if our circuit has splits configured, it says current split 1, and it'll continue to go through those as normal. And we have our gear position here. I'm probably going to use these as a shift light. We have our RPMs here, our miles per hour here, and so forth. And like I said, which mode we're in, currently in slick mode. So what else? Go back into here and let's go back up to mode. Oops. So we got track mode, we got track mode 2, so same screen, just different information. And then we have box, and if we scroll down through box, you can see we get all of these different positions. Oops, let me go back for box. Go back, there we go. A long press. And we can add into this box when we have temperature, air, angle, auxiliary 1, 2, 3, 4, front. We could add any of the information that we want to here. And we can continue on through those. Let's go back up to mode. So we got box 2 where we can do the same thing. And what else? Box 3, box 4. Let me put that here. So we got track, track 2, box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4. So 6 screens that we can configure however we want. So let's long press. We'll come out of this. So video and data acquisition. So in here we have recording. So I don't have that camera. It's a Logitech C270 or something along those lines. Again, it's not a very good camera. I believe it's 720p at 24 frames per second or something like that. Not very good, so I won't be using it. And again, it plugs into the video import right on the back of the Chrome. But if it was active, it would say active here. We got not active. We have memory use, so it's nothing. We don't have anything on here. Sampling frequency, lower speed, auto start channel. So we can tell this when to start recording, and we can do that based on GPS. So if we cross the start finish line, it'll start recording, or we can say once we get to a certain mile per hour, let's kick it in and start that way. We have a file prefix, so how it saves a file. It can save with i2M or whatever it is you put on here. Video acquisition download, show single session, not sure exactly what that is. Then we got download, and then reset ID after each session. So we'll come out of there. We have counters. So our counters are our odometer. Then it has two for distance. We got B and C. And then we have covered distance on an empty tank. So that's your fuel. Then you have time of engine on 1, time of engine on 2, and then total of performed laps. So how many laps we've done for however, and we can reset all of these. So if I just start doing laps, it'll just continually just cycle through and add laps. And at the end of the year, I can see how many laps I've done, or at the end of each session, or at the end of my track day, I can see how many laps I've done. That's pretty handy if you throw on a new set of tires and you want to know how many laps you have on them. There you go. So we'll come out of here. Make sure the camera's still recording. We have inputs and special functions. So in here we have configure inputs, real-time input views, import and export settings, analyze carburation. Let's go into here real quick. So analyze carburation. So you remember that wideband O2 sensor that came with the system? This will allow you to read that actual information. So you'll get live instant readings from your air-fuel ratio on how your bike is running. And you'll be able to come in here after a session and say, hey, how was that bike? It felt a little flat at 5,000 RPMs and whatever gear. And you can come in here and see that and say, oh, look at that, I'm running rich or I'm running lean. And then you can actually make changes if you have access to the fuel and ignition tables like I do. My ECU is flashed with HP Race Calibration Kit 2. So I'll be able to go into here and just make those changes directly on my ECU. I don't have to send it off to anybody, no Bren tuning, no dyno tuning if I don't want to. So really, really cool. We have Lambda channel, TPS channel, reset data, export data, and then input analog. So we won't change any of that stuff. We have alarms. So if we go in here, so we can configure all of these lights and then all of the lights on the side. We can configure them for different alarms, different colors. So each has 3 colors, I believe. Actually, it's more than 3 colors. I know we have yellow, red, green, and blue. So that's at least 4. And we can configure all of these for different things. Now, by default, because we selected BMW ABS, it's already configured some of these. So I won't be changing them because I already know this is ABS and this is traction control. And I already have that off. So we won't be changing any of the alarms. But if you wanted to, you can change those. So we can go in here and we go Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So if I went into Wi-Fi, it's not active because I'm not connected to anything, but I can go in here and it'll show whichever Wi-Fi it's picking up in the house. I can set the password and the name, and then it would say active, and I can actually use this as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So if I'm sitting, let's say I'm at the track and my RV has a Wi-Fi signal, it can connect to that, and then I can use this as an access point, and I can connect my phone to it to use Wi-Fi outside the RV if I want to, if the signal wasn't that strong, kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Bluetooth. So like I said, it can connect to 2 different monitors via Bluetooth. So if I go in here, we have the Polar H7 and then the Polar H10 that it can connect to. And if you connect to one of those, it'll show your heart rate actually down on the screen, sort of like a real world Superbike kind of person. So I can't ever see myself using that, but who knows? And then we have options. So that is really it, guys. Let's go into here and I want to see if we can, I couldn't get this to box mode. I couldn't get it to display, but let's see if we, oh, there we go. So there's box mode. So all of these, I'll configure all of these to contain information, and then it would show this. And then how box mode works is if you leave this as your default view, it'll stay on here. And then when you hit the track and you cross the start finish line, or you exceed a certain mile per hour, this will change back to track 1 or track 2. That way you can get your information, and then when you come off the track and the bike stops, it'll go back to box and you can see all of the information here. So for example, let's say after a session, I want to see my wheel temp and tire temps and water pressure, oil temps, all that stuff like that. I'll set all of these things. I'll do my session. I'll come back in. I'll stop the bike. It'll go back to box. And all I have to do is look at the screen and say, okay, after my session, my front tire pressure went up 1 PSI. The rear went up 2 PSI. That's a little bit higher than I wanted. But I can make adjustments. Or, man, that water temperature is really, really high. Something's going on. I can do something about that. So that's sort of how that works. And I think if you long press, okay, it goes back to that. I long press again. Okay, if I long press again, it's looking for potentiometers, which we don't have set up. So I'll cancel all that. And if I long press the bottom, it's looking for the whatever is attached to a USB key, which is nothing. So that is pretty much it, guys. I think that's all the screens. I still have a few setup items to do. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so if I go into, nope, not there. Inputs and special. Nope. Configure inputs. Okay, so under configure inputs, we see we have configured TPMS sensors. So once I get those installed, that's where I'll go in here and I'll say, okay, each TPMS has like an ID, and I'll say, okay, this one is the front and the other one is the rear. And I can store up to, I believe, 8 TPMS sensors for this bike. So if you have, let's say, 2 sets of dries and a set of rain wheels / tires, you can configure all of them way before you get to the track. And let's say you show up at the track and it starts raining, you need to put on your wets. You can throw them on, and the Chrome will automatically recognize those sensors, and you won't have to reconfigure them again. Like I said, I believe it holds up to 8 sensors. So a couple of sets of wheels and tire sensors combinations for you. I pretty much think that is it. Well, I think that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in on my i2M Chrome Pro 2 dash configuration, as we just went through some screens, showed you some customizations. I still got a lot of work to do. I have tracks I have to update and sensors I have to install. So we're not done, but it's still early fall, and I'm not going to get this out on the track until May, so I have plenty of time to do all this configuration. But anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, or smash it if you didn't. Stay safe out there with Corona. Stay healthy. Until next time, guys, take care.